this other new world that's kind of at the other end of that. It's very low tech, and it's called Craftivism. And I found this Craftifesta. And this is very youthful movement. It started by the young people, and we know that the old kind of craft from the 1970s, we're all gray-haired now. We all remember going to craft fairs and love it, and craft fairs aren't doing so well anymore. It's all about design now. But the younger generation is just coming on board with craft like steam train. But this is going on everywhere, and it's very strong, and it's very political, and it doesn't have to do with making the perfect, beautiful object. It has to do, so I'm kind of wearing an example of it, so it has to do more with the process and the relationships with people. This is the Nike swoosh by Kat Mazza, and this is a knitted, I believe it's a knit, anyway, it's a petition that lots of people participated in making. So it was working with other people, making a petition against Nike outsourcing their production overseas and not taking care of the people that work for them. So craftivism privileges the practice over the product. So it's how you do it in groups that's more important than the product. The product doesn't have to have that perfection anymore. It opposes globalization, it's anti-consumerist, and it prioritizes recycling. There's a reconnection with the sensuous and the physical, and there's a disregard for the idea of efficiency in our culture. It's operating outside sanctioned productivity. This is the Revolutionary Knitting Circle in Calgary. They used knitting as a means of peaceful protest. They infiltrated public protest with roaming groups of knitters. Also, it is pulling people together, and it's kind of validating a sensibility out in the public. So this is their banner. And this happened here in Winnipeg. Yay! So this is of course, you all know what this is. Projects are often organized on the internet, linking crafters to charity and social work. And really importantly, it connects hobby crafters with professional crafters. So we know that meaning is not in the materials anymore, meaning is in the process, meaning is in the context. I have a whole bunch of slides of contemporary contemporary textile art done in Canada. So this is Barry Ace, and it's a piece called Parallel Tasking, and it's the front. And something I'm really interested in myself is when people take traditional practices like beading, Aboriginal beading, and mix it with contemporary art. So this is the back of that same vest, and it's made with all different computer parts and copper wire, embroidered with copper wire. So it's a contemporary on the back. This is Jennifer Angus, and it's called Silver Wings and Golden Scales. And if you don't know her work, it's done with insects that are pinned to the wall. And these are insects that are raised to be sold, so it's not that she's out killing them or anything, although they do get killed for this. This is Keith Bentley, and it's called Coda Equina, and it's 1.4 million knotted horse hairs knotted onto a horse taxidermy form. And this is to mourn the death of horses that are killed once their life is not productive anymore for humans. Diane Borsato is a Montreal performance artist, and she does guerrilla embroidery, where she goes into a store, she takes a piece of clothing into the change room and quickly embroiders something on it in the change room, and then goes and hangs it up again. So when you come home, check the inside of your clothes, see if you've got any girl embroidery. Bob Boyer, Aboriginal artist, I don't think he's with us anymore, but this is called A Minor Sport, and he's painting on blankets. This is Tara Bursey, and she makes clothing out of onion skins and garlic skins. So the foreground is onion skin and the background is garlic. Dorothy Caldwell, of course, embroiderer who is inspired by nature and does very free form embroidery. Lynn Carter, who sews precise forms, so they're metal and styrofoam underneath, and then wood, and then she sews these forms over them, so it's abstract. This is another piece she did, and I'm not sure, but I think it's probably fabric stretched around a wood form cut out to look like some kind of bleeding shadow. Kai Chan, he is one of the best textile artists in Canada. He's known for working with toothpicks, and he drills little tiny holes in the toothpicks and runs them along strings. And this is a pair of pants, which relates to his Chinese heritage. And Leah Decter, of course, you know. I don't have the Armor, I think is the title of this. So there's felting on fabric. This is Nancy Edel. I'm sorry she's no longer with us. This is work from the 1980s. And this first one is called Boudoir Deathbed. And this is called Home Entertainment, which just looks absolutely lovely. Really fun. Mark Fast from Winnipeg, I had to put him in, and he would come under that heading, I guess, of designer. This is Deanne Fitzpatrick, rug hooker from Newfoundland. Mackenzie Frere, it's called Net in the Water, very simple weaving. This is Doug Guilford, and it's called Wasp. This is a beautiful piece by Guilford called Winter Bride. And Pam Hall in Newfoundland, where I live, collects aprons, and she hangs them in various places. David Harper does installation work and makes all the various parts of an installation, including these very, very detailed embroideries of pairs of animals for this little trailer. This is Catherine Hurd, and it's called Efflorescence, embroidery on a little fabric baby figure. Brian Youngin, this is People's Flag, so it's all red clothes sewn together. I really like these by Brian Youngin. They're called Trade Blanket Fancy Dance Garment. So these are obviously sports shirts that he has cut into strips and woven. Kathleen Noling is in her 80s now, and she just won a major art prize in Newfoundland. So she's still making art. And Naomi London, who, this is work that goes back to the 1980s, I think, but she was knitting all kinds of garments that were about the psychology of people and the psychology between people. This is Robin Love, it's called Doughboy, and it's a black fisherman knit shroud for a statue of a soldier. Sarah Maloney, it's botanical leaves, and she sees the same form in nature that is found in the human body. And there's the detail, so very detailed, very amazing embroidery. She's been embroidering for many, many years. Mindy Miller, and she hammers nails into the wall, and she will put one single hair on each nail, and she is exploring her Jewish heritage through this work. This is Dory Millerson, and she's a young contemporary artist who is using lace. And she's working with the shadow of the bridge. Alison Mitchell, I think she's from Toronto, and this is called Big Trubs. Another place, an interior, that just happens, Kent Monkman comes after Mitchell. I'm sorry I don't have the title for this, but this is a red teepee I took a picture of at the Art Gallery of Ontario. And then you go inside, and there's a video, and the videos are projected on a skin rug. I don't know if it's bear skin, maybe bear. This is Newfoundland artist Carolyn Morgan, and she had her friends tell her names for girls. They had for girls. These are boys. She asked boys, men. And they said sex pot. She said, okay, draw what you think a sex pot looks like. So these are drawings that men have made of women, and these are their names for them, and so she embroidered them. Janet Morton, who's well-known knitter, and this is News Flash. So she's knitting the news in a storefront window. I think she did it for a week. This is Nadia Meyer, who beads the Indian Act. So it's quite a profound piece because she's translating the language that oppresses her. This is Debbie New, who's also thinking about heritage. Anyway, this is a knitted coracle. And Kim Ouellette, embroidery on blankets stretched over canvas. Jason Penny, he's an example of a young crafter who is very irreverent. This is Michelle Provo. It's only rock and roll, and she does intricate, amazing embroidery of lyrics from her favorite rock and roll songs. Another Newfoundland artist, Dale Roberts, called Early Distorts, and he takes images from the ocean and he makes crochet copies of them. This is Lisa Robinson, called Red Shoes, so they're little red velvet copies of shoes. Catherine Rupert Desai, sorry, I don't have the title, but the whole picture is knitted, and she knitted the orange background in strips. And Rachel Ryan, we're getting down to the R's, so we're not too far from the end, called The Zooms. Another one that's very, very silly and sexy is Stephen Schofield, and this is called Silly. And he does clay figures, and he works with his own body. So this is a little clay figure of himself. This is Barbara Todd. It's called Security Blanket, and again, she uses men's suiting fabric to put together weapons. This is Patrick Trayer. The one on the left is called Creamy Lip Ruddy Rose, and the one on the right is called Baby Blue Balls. So this is Laura Vickerson, and this is a train made out of rose petals. And this is Marie Watt, an Aboriginal artist from Canada, and it's 2 paths. And I love it. It's little bits of clothing kind of sewn together very minimally. Colette Whitten. These are beaded. It's a beaded text. Kevin Whitfield. It's called You Should Have Been a Woman. So he's a gay man dealing with his identity, and he's made this suit that he can put on to actually make himself into a woman. And this is Janice Wright Cheney. It's a piece called Devour. She's from New Brunswick, and she won a provincial prize for this. It's she embroidered on organza the various insects that eat our body after we die. And the last slide I have is my advisor when I went to Concordia, Barbara Lane. And she is working with digital clothing. And what happens is that there are messages on the back of their clothing that run across, and images and messages. But when they hold hands, they get the message that scrolls across both their backs. So they are joined with text as well as joined physically. So I'll leave you with that optimistic note for the future. Thank you for staying later. This was way too long.